Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayosritva Pranamami Muhurmudu. Namastri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchisuka Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharini. So, Master Maharshi was talking to Sri Ramakrishna. Then Sri Ramakrishna suddenly asked him, do you ever have dreams? Then answer, devotee means only Master Maharshi himself. Devotee, yes sir. The other day I dreamt a strange dream. I saw the whole world enveloped in water. There was water on all sides. A few boats were visible, but suddenly huge waves appeared and sank them. I was about to board a ship with a few others, and when we saw a Brahmin walking over that expanse of water, I asked him, how can you walk over the deep? The Brahmin said with a smile, oh, there's no difficulty about that. There's a bridge under the water. I said to him, where are you going? To Bhavanipur, the city of the Divine Mother. He replied, wait a little. I cried, I shall accompany you. Master said, oh, I am thrilled to hear the story. The Brahmin said, I'm in a hurry. It will take you some time to get out of the boat. Goodbye. Remember this path and come after me. Oh, my hair is standing on end. Please be initiated by a guru as soon as possible. It was a very extraordinary dream with the Master Maharshi had. So, of course, all dreams, have scope for a lot of interpretation. And actually, this dream gives rise to many ideas. Some one or two we can look at. There may be other shades also. See, he says the whole world is enveloped in water. It's like, maybe symbolic of the Ananta Sagar, the boundless sea. See, the samsara is always described as sagar, samsara sagar, symbolic of the huge ocean, the world. So there's water on all sides. So wherever you look, there is water, obviously. A few boats were visible. A few maybe individuals or jivas or those who are struggling in the world, trying to stay afloat, trying to, somehow survive. Then a huge wave appeared and sank them. So like many people, they are drowned in this ocean of samsara. They try a little, but then, majority can't really cross the ocean so easily. They get drowned in samsara. They get completely subsumed by the waters. I was about to board a ship with a few others. Then I saw a Brahmin walking over that expanse of water. So, but this individual is trying to take a safer path. A ship is capable of staying afloat on the water of the ocean. And the ship usually, it manages to, in spite of the turbulence, in spite of the waves, etc., the ship is normally it doesn't sink or capsize, it crosses. So this person seems to have chosen a more safer path of staying afloat in the samsara, because he has already come under the influence of a great soul, So it's symbolic of that. He's already, chosen a path which is a real path of redemption. And along with them, he's trying to claim the ship, board the ship. So meaning thereby is really, some kind of a spiritual awakening has happened. And that person is somehow about to, is struggling to get onto a ship, trying to stay afloat in this world, struggling. So he's a struggling soul, serious spiritual aspirant, has got some clue, some idea because he has surrendered to Sri Ramakrishna, Then suddenly he saw a Brahmin walking on the water. So here it represents, probably the Brahmin represents Sri Ramakrishna himself. So here is a person who seems to walk effortlessly over a huge expanse of water just on foot. So obviously, it's very clear that nothing in the samsara ever touched Sri Ramakrishna. So he was very easily and very nonchalantly used to cross this. Samsara is nothing for him. It made no dent on him. So he was effortlessly going over. So then, he asked, how are you able to walk over? He says with a smile, there's no difficulty. There's a bridge under the water. So, for such realized souls, for such advanced sadhakas, there's something like, uh, something which can really support them easily. For them, this is walking over the water is nothing, as if there is a bridge beneath their feet. Over that they can. See, I think you might have read, the Shankara's disciple, this Padmapada, was somewhere on the other shore. When Shankaracharya called him, he had to come immediately to his guru. So he rushed over the water, and wherever he set his foot, there was a lotus flower. So on that he came. That's why he was called Padmapada. So similarly, like that, Thakur says that there is a bridge over which I am walking. See, but that bridge is not visible to the normal eye. Normal people are not able to see. Normal people are only wondering in amazement how this person is able to walk over water like this with great facility. But he knows how to cross the ocean of samsara. And he has a clear path visible before him. And that path is because of his, it was laid. Of course, you can add like through great sadhana, great awareness, great knowledge, great bhakti, great everything. So, the world of the samsara is, for the normal person, a person who has no viveka, vairagya, discrimination, for them it's like a huge, insurmountable expanse of water. But if one has certain qualities, it's like is as easy as walking over water, because there is a strong bridge of viveka and vairagya and other spiritual qualities underlying, which are not visible for the normal eye, for the normal person. But the person who has done great sadhana knows that for that person it's very easy to cross over such waters. It's not at all a problem. But it's very clear that although it looked very miraculous, normally, when in such miraculous things, when we see something exceptional, usually one is also wondering whether it is true or what is this, what will happen if we follow, whether we'll get drowned or this or that. But because he was a great spiritual aspirant himself, he simply says that I will also accompany you. And he's asking him, where are you going? I'm going to Bhavanipur, the city of the Divine Mother. Because Thakur was always in the company of the Divine Mother only. So he said, I'm going to the Mother only. He says, immediately, wait a little, I shall accompany you. So, although it, normally if you see such things, one would be deeply worried, suspicious, whether it's all true or what we see is really, it's what trick it is or something like that. But instantaneously he gets deep faith. Says it's possible. This person, if you follow him, he will take me to the. See, he was about to claim a ship. It was not bad in itself. But, Masmashi was also in a great hurry to reach the goal, to cross over the samsara. So he's ready to stake everything. He says, I'm ready to come with you. Take me along. So he was not sure, but he has not seen the bridge. But he sees this person walking. But he's not sure whether he will be able to take him also. But He already has developed that kind of faith that he says, no, I also, please take me. He's crying. I want to come. I shall accompany you. But then Brahmin said, I'm in a hurry to take you some time to get out of the boat. Goodbye. Remember this path and come after me. Then he says, because no Thakur's time, the Sajan on earth was very limited, He was not to live very long. So Masmusha came to him in 81 or so, and 86 he was gone. So he says, I don't have time, hurry, I have to rush. For you, it will take time to get out of, whatever you have already decided as a very safe journey and all that. It's okay. You're starting. But then, it will take you time. You have to struggle. You have to struggle much more. It's not easy. But you have got it correctly. You've got it. You've got the faith. So if you follow this path, remember this path and come after me, you will reach the goal. But it will take time because you have a lot of struggle yet to undergo. You have to really do sadhana. You have to go through all that. So much would happen. But then, so more or less, Ramakrishna also assures him that he will reach the goal ultimately. So he says, you remember the path and come after me. Virtually saying that I have laid the path for you. You just follow and you come after me to reach the goal. It was extremely reassuring to Master Moshe. Thakur himself says, my hair is standing on end. I'm having haripulation. Please be initiated by a guru as soon as possible. Shortly before midnight, Narendra and the other devotees lay down on a bed made on the floor of the master's room. At dawn, some of the devotees were up. So it's impossible to sleep in Thakur's presence. Whole night he will keep you awake. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? He will come and ask. Then how can one sleep? He saw the master, naked as a child, pacing up and down the room, repeating the names of the various gods and goddesses. His voice was sweet as nectar. Now he would look at the Ganges. Now stop in front of the pictures hanging on the wall and bow down before them, chanting all the while the holy names in his sweet voice. He chanted Veda, Purana, Tantra, Gita, Gayatri, Bhagavata, Bhakta, Bhagavan. Referring to the Gita, he repeated many times, Ta Gita, 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 Gita. Now and then he would say, O Mother, thou art verily Brahman, and thou art verily Shakti, thou art Purusha, and thou art Prakriti, thou art Virat, thou art the Absolute. Thou dost manifest thyself as a relative, thou art verily the 24 cosmic principles. So regarding Gita, Sri Ramakrishna always used to say, what is Gita? It's essentially, it says Tyaga. So that's why he says Tagi means Tyagi. It's an abbreviated form. So Tagi, Tyagi, 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 Tagi, 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 then it becomes Gita. So give up everything, renounce everything for the sake of God. Sri Ramakrishna would say that is the essence of Gita. So then he says, Mother, thou art verily Brahman. See, for him, so these are all, they have not really come up with any comprehensive philosophy of Sri Ramakrishna, because he says, oh mother, the mother, what he calls his mother, it's not just a form of a divine personality, or it's not only that, it's much more than that. For him, mother was all comprehensive. He says, thou art verily Brahman, thou art verily Shakti. Because you see, that way, he places mother even above Brahman, because Brahman in his aspect, Brahman is Nirguna, is it not? Nirakar, Nirgun. So he is Nishkriya that way. But then Thakur's mother is not only Brahman, it's also Shakti, the power, the manifestation, the nature, the principles, all inclusive. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna would say that, give this example. If you want to weigh the bell fruit, you cannot remove the seeds and weight. It's everything together. So if you understand the ultimate truth, if you say only Nirgun, Nirakar, Brahman, maybe there is a logic to look at it, at true and all that. But then how do you deny your everyday experience? We experience the world, we suffer, we enjoy, we are happy, we are sorrowful, so many things. Somewhere is it possible to accept this also? That's why he says, the word Verity Shakti, the word Purusha and your Prakriti. There also is not making a difference. Purusha and Prakriti are different in Shankya. But he says you are both. The word Virat, the word Absolute. So you are the first manifestation as well as that which is beyond that, Absolute. The word Mice as the relative. So, absolute and relative, both are you. Vyavaharika and Paramarthika, both are the mother. The what verily the 24 cosmic principles. So that is the all man. So that means Sri Ramakrishna's idea of Divine Mother was something far transcending even the description of Brahman as in the Vedanta. Says it is all inclusive. In the meantime, the morning service had begun in the temples of Kali and Radhakanta. Sounds of conch shells and cymbals were carried on the air. The devotees came outside the room and saw the priests and servants gathering flowers in the garden for the divine service in the temples. From the Nahabad floated the sweet melody of musical instruments befitting the morning hours. So, it was morning time. The service had begun, and naturally it was blowing of conchs, etc., etc. Priests, they were gathering flowers for the divine service. Narendra and the other devotees finished their morning duties and came to the master. With a sweet smile on his lips, Sri Ramakrishna was standing on the northeast veranda, close to his own room. Narendra, we noticed several sannyasis belonging to the sect of Nanak in the Panchavati. See, in those days, Dakshineshwar, they used to accommodate many visiting monks of various sampradayas. They would come on their way to Puri, etc., etc., and they'll be given provisions. They can cook their own food and eat, because they had very, very strict caste rules and all that. So they'll all be given provision. They can stay, they can have food and do sadhana and all that. So Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, they arrived here. Then he says to Narendra, I would like to see you all sitting together on the mat. They all sat there, and Master looked at them with evident delight. He then began to talk to them. So he always wanted them to be together so that, they can be of great support to each other in their sadhana and struggle. Narendra, I would like to see you. And Narendra asked about spiritual discipline. The Master, Bhakti, love of God, is the essence of all spiritual discipline. Through love, one acquires renunciation and discrimination naturally. Actually, these are all very, very complementary. Normally, we say that one must have discrimination, one must have viveka and vairagya. Then only it's possible to go forward in spiritual life, to develop love of God. One should have all that. But Ramakrishna also says one has love for God. Automatically, if you love something very deeply, obviously your mind goes away from other things. Obviously, there is viveka and vairagya. So the other way also it's possible. Naturally, it's always the question of which is first, whether love of God is first and viveka vairagya is first. So both ways, some places he stresses viveka and vairagya. Without that, one cannot have any spiritual life. But here he clearly says that it's possible if one has really deep love of God, then through that one can acquire renunciation and discrimination naturally. Because if you are deeply devoted to God, your attraction for the things will automatically go. So there'll always be renunciation in your life. Not only that, once you have that, you very easily will understand. Discrimination will be spontaneous because you will know that apart from God, nothing else is worth having. So you will easily discriminate and discard everything else. So if one spontaneously has love of God, it's possible that these qualities might be easily acquired. It's also possible. Then Indra says, isn't it true that the Tantra prescribes spiritual discipline in the company of women? There are various disciplines in the Tantras. Some say that you should practice with women. So he says that is not desirable. It is a very difficult path and often causes the aspirant's downfall. There are three such kinds of discipline. One may regard woman as one's mistress, or look on oneself as a handmaid, or as a child. There are three attitudes possible with regard to God. If we can, of course, women can be regarded as like that. That's only that mistress. That is what the Vamachara Tantra prescribes, or one as a Sakhi Bhav towards the mother, or Mayar Santan, or mother's child. But he says, I look upon woman as my mother. To look on oneself as a handmaid is also good, but it's extremely difficult to practice spiritual discipline, looking on woman as one's mistress. To regard oneself as a child is a very pure attitude. Because, of all the relationships, the one between the mother and the child is the purest and the most unselfish one. So one can, so that way, the child is completely depending on mother for everything. That's why Thakur always used to tell about himself, Ami Chirakal Mayer Nirbhar Balak. I'm the eternal mother dependent child. That's how he used to describe himself. The sannyasis belonging to the sect of Nanak entered the room. They came and greeted the master saying, Namo Narayana. Sri Ramakrishna asked them to sit down. Master, nothing is impossible for God. Nobody can describe his nature in words. Everything is possible for him. There lived at a certain place two yogis were practicing spiritual discipline. Sage Narada was passing that way one day. Realizing who he was, one of the yogis said, You have just come from God himself. What is he doing now? Narada replied, Why? I saw him making camels and elephants pass through the eye of a needle. At this, yogi said, Is there anything to wonder at? Everything is possible for God. But the other yogi said, What? Making elephants pass through the eye of a needle? Is that ever possible? You have never been to the God's dwelling place. So, there are, both of them are sadhakas. Both are definitely yogis practicing spiritual discipline. But one was in the initial stages. So he has yet to have that uh, vision or realization or the deep faith of the powers of God. So when Narada said he was doubting, how is it possible? Is it possible for God to make elephants pass through an eye of a needle? But the other person said, why not? Anything is possible. If God can create the whole universe, if he can determine the birth and death of millions and millions of souls, what is not happening every day in the world? Most impossible things are happening. So if that is all possible for God, this is nothing compared to all that. So that's why he did not look into the details, but simply said that anything is possible for God, because by his sadhana, he had more or less understood that God is all powerful, omniscient. At 9 o'clock in the morning, while the master was still sitting in his room, Manmohan arrived from Konnagar with some members of his family. In answer to Sri Ramakrishna's kind inquiries, Manmohan explained that he was taking them to Calcutta. The master said, Today is the first day of the Bengali month, an inauspicious day for undertaking a journey. Bangla master said, Pratham din, I don't know. It is a tradition, I believe. I hope everything will be well with you. With a smile, he began to talk to other matters. See, although he was God incarnate, some of the social customs Ramakrishna used to clearly observe. For example, he would never allow anyone to start journey on a Thursday afternoon. Thursday afternoon, no, from 2 o'clock to the sunset, it's called Barvela in Bengal. Then that's not suitable for Yatra. So, like that, some of those things he was very particular. Although, as one might ask, oh, if he's God himself, what is for him all that? Yes, he's God himself. But he has come, he was Naradevadari, he has taken a human form. He was in a society, he was born there. Obviously, to the extent possible, he observed all the customs, etc., wherever it was. That is why, in the initial days, when he came to Dakshineshwar, you didn't take even prasad there. You would buy one paisa worth murmura and eat separately, or cook a little for himself. He was orthodox to start with. Of course, after some time, all that got completely swept away by his love of Divine Mother. But then, as long as that's why you see, now quite often we find people saying, "Oh, it's all for us, it's all nothing, it's all Thakur." That's okay. But as long as you are in a society, in a family, in a this thing, to the extent possible, all those things are to be observed. Only if one goes beyond all that. See, when it comes to other mundane matters, we are very particular, we are very conscious, we are very calculative. But when it comes to some of the observances, oh, it's all not necessary, it's all very superstition. Only devotion is what is necessary. No, that's not the way. One has to say, I still remember I was to do Saraswati Puja in Belur Math. It's the only puja I have done in Belur Math. Then they took me to Bharatma. Bharatma was alive. Naturally, the pujaris have to go and do pranam as a brahmachari. So then he asked, you do man a few words. So take korbe, ki korbe. So I said, very foolishly, I said, Maharaj, with devotion and all that. But Maharaj clearly said, must do all the rituals properly. So, it's not for you are doing for puja, etc. It's not for yourself. It is for the Sarvajanin, it's for the community, it's for the welfare of everyone. So you cannot just as Ramakrishna used to keep the flower on his head before offering to mother, he should give it to cat. Can you do it in a Durga Puja? Then people will throw you out. So when it is meant for community, when it's for others, as far as possible, all those disciplines, rules, and regulations are all to be followed as meticulously as possible. The only thing is, should not stretch them beyond a point. There's always, there is a limit, but as far as possible, so that the faith of others is not destroyed. See, when people come and attend the puja, why Belirmat puja is so much? Because everything is done vidhivat, according to rules, according to regulations, according to the almanac, auspicious time, everything, so that people who participate, they develop shraddha and bhakti. So it's very necessary. So you cannot say that Thakur used to feed cat, I will also feed dogs before Mother's Bhoga. Then they will immediately remove you from the seat and put someone there. When Narendra and his friends had finished bathing in the Ganges, the master said to them earnestly, "Go to the Panchavati and meditate there under the banyan tree. Shall I give you something to sit on?" Says even Asan also is ready to give. About half an hour, 10:30, Narendra and Brahmadus were meditating in the Panchavati. Afterwards, Ramakrishna came to them. Yam too was present. The master said to the Brahmo devotees, in meditation, one must be absorbed in God. By merely floating on the surface of the water, can you reach the gems lying at the bottom of the sea? Huh? He says, one has to dive deep. Taking the name of Kali, dive deep down, O mind. डूब दे रे मोन काली बोले हृदय रत्ना करे आगाध जले. In the fathomless depths where many precious gem lies hid, but never believe the bed of the ocean bare of gems. If in the first few dives you fail, with firm resolve and self-control, dive deep and make your way to the Mother Kali's realm. So, one has to pursue relentlessly, do intense sadhana. It's not possible to get anything to start with. One might fail, one might struggle, but one should never give up. The first few dives you fail. With firm resolve and self-control, dive deep and make your way to the Mother Kali's realm. Down in the ocean depths of heavenly wisdom lie the wondrous pearls of peace, O mind, and yourself can gather them. We have but pure love and follow the scriptures' rule. So, you have to be very clear, meticulous, very sincere, intense. Then it says you'll get peace of mind and everything. Within these ocean depths as well, six alligators lurk, lust, anger, and the rest. Kama, Krodha, Love, Moda, Mada, Matsarya, all those Shadaripu, swimming about in search of prey. Smear yourself with the turmeric of discrimination. Vivek Halud. Huh? The very smell of it will shield you from their jaws. Upon the ocean bed lies strewn unnumbered pearls and precious gems. Plunge in, says Ram Prasad, and gather up handfuls there. What a beautiful song, no? Narendra and his friends came down from their seats on the raised platform of Panchavati and stood near the master. He returned to his room with them. The master continued, when you plunge in the water of the ocean, you will be attacked by alligators. You see, you know, see at the surface, the ocean, if you think it represents the samsara sagar. So if we are all floating on the surface only. But we should go deeper into that. At the bottom, at the core lies that great pearls others to be had. But naturally, at the surface, initially, there are those great temptations, alligators, the shadowripus like Kama, Krodha, etc. They're ready to pounce upon. Most of us are consumed by all that, by the alligators. We are attacked and we fall a victim. But they won't touch you if your body is smeared with turmeric. So, Vivek, Viveka, if you apply the turmeric of Viveka to your body, then only you can go deeper. That will protect you, then you will not be attacked by the alligators. There are no doubt six alligators, and so on within you, in the heart's fathomless depths. But protect yourself the turmeric of discrimination, renunciation, and they won't touch you. Actually, where are those six alligators? They are all within us only. They are not outside in that sense. They are all within us only. So, if you can somehow uh, protect yourself with all those, then it is possible. Otherwise, we they are not external enemies. They are not to be found elsewhere. They are just within you, in our own personality, in our own hearts. So, if you constantly use the power of Viveka and Vairagya, then you can overcome them. Then only you'll be able to dive deep into meditation, in depths of meditation. Initially, hundreds of disturbing thoughts come. They come and again disturb us. We are not able to meditate. But then, if you persist and if you drive away those alligators using Viveka and Vairagya, then it's possible. What can you achieve by mere lecturing and scholarship without discrimination and dispassion? God alone is real and all else is unreal. God alone is substance and all else is non-entity. That is discrimination. What is discrimination? He has given it very basically. Simply it is this, that God is the only reality or the only substance and everything is non-entity or unreal or impermanent. You see, it will take maybe a long time for us to realize how real God is. But no, it is not at all difficult to realize and feel that the world is unreal. Is it not? You do. See, if we really strengthen that, automatically that will lead us to the idea that God is more real. Because why nothing is happening in our lives? Because the world is very real for us. Do we really feel that world is unreal? Does it really strike us very strongly, the unreality of the world? See, when everything, whenever any distraction, whenever something strongly, we were reading in Shamji's that meditation and spiritual life also in our night class. He says, if anything, attracts you, any relationship, anything that is, examine what is at the root of it. Why it is attracting you? Why is it that relationship? What is its importance? Once you do that, then it is possible to really dissect and find out the mystery. Why is it that is troubling us? Why it is again and again it's coming to us? So only when you do that way, it's possible to go beyond and dive deeper. Otherwise, as long as the world is very perfectly real to us, it's not possible to go beyond the world. We are caught in the meshes of the world. First of all, set up God in the shrine of your heart and deliver lectures as much as you like. So if one is really linked to God, and if one feels that kind of a deep um, love for God, then it is possible. Then one can lecture. Otherwise, how will the mere repetition of Brahma profit you if you're not imbued with discrimination, dispassion? It's the empty sound of a conch shell. Just like blowing a conch shell without any meaning. Because unless you set up God in your shrine of your heart, then mere lecturing, just like because you can study, you can understand, you are a little intelligent, you know the language or whatever it is, and you are just parrot like repeating what somebody else has said. Guru himself says the parrots start to say Rama, 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 etc. But when the cat comes to attack it, it only gives its natural ugly sound. Same way, you may be a Pandit, you may study, you may lecture, but the real time comes, you are caught. You cannot escape because there is no Viveka and Vairagya in you. It's all only at the surface. So somehow you have studied here and there something and you are trying to lecture, but that won't. And he gives a very beautiful example. There lived in a village a young man named Padmalochan. People used to call him Pado for short. In this village, there was a temple in a very dilapidated condition. It contained no image of God. Ashwatha and other plants sprang up on the ruins of its walls. Bats lived inside, and the floor was covered with the dust and the droppings of the bats. The people of the village had stopped visiting the temple. Both in this old temple dilapidated, no, it was abandoned. Nobody was going. One day after the dusk, the villagers heard the sound of conch shell from the direction of the temple. Somebody was blowing a conch. So they thought perhaps someone had installed the image and was performing evening worship. So everybody thought that it has all been cleaned and then they've got an image and for the village there's a new temple, so let us all go, and they all flocked. One of them softly opened the door and saw Padalochan standing in a corner blowing the conch. No image had been set up. The temple had been swept or washed, and filth and dirt lay everywhere. Then they shouted to Pado, "You have set up no image here within the shrine, O fool. Blowing the conch to simply make confusion worse confounded. Day and night, 11 bats scream there incessantly." So he says to Miki Korcho, "What have you done? Simply you have taken up a conch and you're blowing without any purpose. You fool. There is no use in merely making a noise. If you want to establish the deity in the shrine of your heart, if you want to realize God, first of all, purify the mind. In the pure heart, God takes his seat. One cannot bring the holy image into the temple. If the droppings of the bat are all around, the 11 bats are our 11 organs, Kanindriya, Karmendriya, and the Mon. So he says, unless you do all those disciplines, without doing all that, if you simply try to making a noise, if you want to any spiritual discipline, if you want to undertake seriously, that requires a lot of preparation. So again, this requires more detailed going into that. We'll do it next time. We'll have a few more questions. Another 5 minutes we have. 40 minutes over, and then 45 minutes is our class usually. Because then the attention span will not be there more than that.
Thank you, Maharaj. It was
Yes.
a wonderful session. Any queries? Maharaj, I have one question. So, in that song which was written by Rajinikanth,
Ram Prasad.
Ram Prasad, huh? The first paragraph itself, there is one line. taking the name of Kali, and the fourth line, but never believe the bed of the ocean bare of gems.
Yes. So you see, you should believe that, for our spiritual striving initially,
Mm,
it depends on our faith, is it not? If
mm,
you fail that, that you will get something, spiritual redemption or revelation of God or vision or something, that faith is what will keep you striving. Na? If you
mm-hmm.
don't have that, how can you do sadhana? Is it possible?
Right.
So you should never believe that there is nothing. You should always believe that it is possible, it's possible, it's possible.
Achha, this
That
is
faith
Shraddha.
alone will keep you going. So
Okay.
that is what it says. So you must have that faith initially, because initially we have no experience. It's only
Mm,
faith. What is the
mm,
basis? Scriptures. Great sadhakas, great realized souls have realized. So based on that, see, million things we believe based on others. Why not this also? See, our whole life itself is built on belief only. If you
mm-hmm.
don't believe, the whole life goes. So if you believe, just as we are believing so many things, we can believe this also, and thereby we can, continue our sadhana. When it comes to God, people say, where is the proof? But every day we are believing so many things. We never ask for any proof. Why this alone? That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. And Maharaj, in that dream, he makes this comment, Thakur, that please take an initiation as fast as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So, Srimo had কি মায়ের ছিলেন, ভক্ত ছিলেন, was
No. Well, I think Thakur initiated him subsequently.
oh, but okay, at that point he was not. He did not
Probably not.
initiate him right
Probably.
away. No, okay, later on he was initiated.
He must have. I think he was initiated. He did not. By Thakur only. He was.
By Thakur only he was initiated. Okay. Any more questions? Please feel free to ask.
Yes. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna.